Perfect. So let me ask you, did you have a chance to start navigating over the material on Canvas that is like the module 0 where I uploaded different resources?
A little bit. I got a glimpse of it.
Okay, perfect. So because I think it's actually really beneficial,
Okay.
let me show it to you. Let me start sharing my screen. Okay, perfect. Can you see it?
Yes.
Great. Awesome. So something that I created and I think is really beneficial is a module 0. That module 0, it helps you actually navigating some resources in a really fast way and effective. An example of this is the format of APA. As you know, here in the business department, we use APA. We don't use MLA, which is actually MLA is for the humanities and arts. But when we're talking about psychology and we're talking about business field, we usually use a different type of formatting, and this is the APA. And the way of doing this is because it's easier to get references and it creates like a different layout that is easier when you're doing research. So this is also something really important to understand. This class has a heavy level of research where you actually start creating a foundation with things that are already available, like using secondary sources. And after that, when you have a foundation, you're able to propose, you're able actually to move forward that knowledge that is already there, and you're able to create something on your own, but something that has a foundation. So here, as I mentioned, we have the APA. So you can actually even click here and then access the template. So you can actually just plug in everything, all your information. It has already the indentation, the font size, the way that you do it with the guidance. And then here you can even have like a sample. So it's actually a really easy way to navigate and then do things straightforward, and it gives you like the guidance. Moving forward with this module 0, we have the signature assignment, which is actually what we're going to talk today. So with the signature assignment, I uploaded already 2 examples of what is going to be the whole document at the end. The whole paper is going to look like these 2 different documents. And the idea is to select a company, that it needs to be a public company. The idea of selecting a public company, it is because we need to access data and facts. And if you're not publicly traded, it's going to be really hard to find the numbers that we need to support our idea. So that's what I'm asking to have access to the data. And a way of doing that is by using a public company. And then the second is, of course, choosing a company that you like. Choose something that you're passionate about, that you're a client, that you're comfortable, something that you're going to be learning and researching through the whole quarter, but you're going to be enjoying it. So I'm not assigning do X, Y, and Z, but rather you're going to be the one who's going to be proposing. The team is a team that it was created already by Canvas. So then Canvas created using the algorithm, it created like a randomly group, and then it placed you. And then the idea of doing this with groups, it has different meanings. One is because, of course, any product development, it always goes with different people in different areas. So here you're going to actually experience in a first hand what happened when you're doing a product development, which means you're going to be bringing some of your skills, some of your knowledge, but you need to coordinate with other people. And it means a lot of elements. It means that you need to know if you're in a specific field, the other person is going to support you with a different field, but also it's not just the skills, the hard skills, but also the soft skills. And then with the soft skills, I refer to communicating properly, conflict management, if someone is not doing things on time, meeting the deadlines, how you actually are going to do things effectively. That is even why I always ask all my students to always upload the assignment. It's not that here we have someone that is the one that is submitting the assignment for the whole group, but rather what I do and what I ask everyone is to submit their assignments for many reasons. First, because it's going to show consistency, that everyone is creating and being active and collaborating in the team. Second, there is not one person waiting for everyone to send everything, and then this person is staying till late, till everyone is doing their portion at last minute. So then if I send my portion at 2 p.m., I'm ready to go, I just fall asleep at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m., whatever is your time. But then the other person is going to be kind of like waiting for last minute procrastination, and I don't want that. So then that's the other element, what I'm always asking everyone to upload their information, their assignments, so I can keep track of that, and also seeing consistency. I have been in situations where I found that product plans are different. They differ among students, and the reason is for the same thing, because there is no coordination, because one person is not sharing all the information. And that also happens when you're doing a product development. You need to be really transparent. You need to coordinate with your teams. If someone is not being receptive and proactive, there are ways of working with that. So then again, here we're going to be recreating that. And then the final intention is, of course, because we are going to be able to brainstorm. You're actually going to be able to create a solution that comes with different mindsets. It's not just your mind putting together a product plan, but instead it's some multiple components of people with different knowledge, background, culture that actually creates a rich product at the end. So then here, as I said, we have some examples. So then different areas. I have product assignments that they range from the area of the beauty industry, from luxurious brands, things for Louis Vuitton, things for Gucci, but also in the different areas for such as tampons. This is a great example. Products for Tesla, for Apple, for Amazon, products for Frito-Lay, for Mattel, Coke. So then you can name it. It's like any company that you think about that has a product, an existing product and a portfolio, you need to think about a potential product that it's needed in the market. And hence there is an opportunity, and we're gonna take from there. So then of course you take whatever area that you like, whatever company that you like, and then you're gonna start thinking about the first element is gonna be the opportunity. So when we're talking about the opportunity, please be really specific about the market. Why this is a relevant and trendy market. What is the market size? What is the market share? What are the sales? What is the trend? Why it is an unattended need? Do we have substitutes? And who are the competitors? Who are the users, the consumers? What is the disposable income? Here is a really important portion of the document, because this is going to lay out the foundation of the whole product plan. If the product plan doesn't have like a proper foundation of having tangible opportunity that has a factual market that we can measure with money and with numbers, there is no opportunity, and we shouldn't continue and moving forward. So after having the opportunity, that's going to be due on week 4. After that, we're going to move into the next week. And then the next week, we're going to be exploring the strategy. So then for the strategy, now that you know that there is an opportunity, there is an unattended need, there is a market share that we can explode, you're going to think about how we're going to make this happen. And with the strategy, you can actually think about the 4 Ps. You can think about, from the product perspective, what should I do? From the market perspective, from the channels, how I'm going to target this. And try to be really specific again. What are going to be the way of you making a difference and making this happen? Are you going to have a limited edition? Are you going to be targeting something that is trendy, such as sustainable materials, social responsibility? Are you going to be implementing artificial intelligence? And how are you going to make this different, and why this is so relevant? Do you need to hire someone? Do you need to partner with someone? Do you need to use influencers, and so on? This is part of the strategy. And then again, be really mindful and of always using data, always using facts, and citing your sources. So then when I'm talking about citing sources, please remember, always use 2 types of citation. Work citation is at the end of the document. You're going to be listing all the resources that you use for the document and the research, but also in-text citation, it goes into the body of the document, which means I'm talking about, according to Forbes, there is an increase in sales during the pandemic for toys. 55% of the companies experience an increment in puzzles. I'm going to do a quote, Forbes 2021, McKinsey, blah, 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 whatever. So then again, even though I'm having the work citation at the end, also in the paper, in the body of the document, when I'm talking about something that I didn't create it, I didn't research that data, but I'm using data from a third party, I need to be explicit about this is being taken from someone else and use it there. So that's when I'm always referring to please use in text and word citation. Both are really important. So that's for week 5. When you're on week 5, I'm always going to ask you to include the previous part, which means you're going to include opportunities and the strategy. So I can see that everything is a cohesive document that has a foundation that is starting from the opportunity, talking about the market landscape, then moving to the strategy. For week 6, we're going to tackle some questions. If we're going to launch this product, what do we need to know? And then we're going to start asking questions. This is going to be around between 10 and 15 questions. And it's going to range. I always ask you guys to take an approach that is more convergent. So you're going to go from the general to the particular. You start talking from something macro, such as the market, such as the needs, and then you start moving and narrow things to be more specific, such as price of the product, materials of the product, manufacturing process, if you need any specific skills, if you need any software or hardware, this is the portion where you talk about that. On week 7, we're going to answer those questions. So some people start answering questions on week 6. So then I always tell them you're doing a good job, but also try to be more specific. Try to be more specific when you're talking. The reason of asking to be really bringing always data and information is because the more information you have, the more factual you are, the less likely are you gonna have mistakes when you're gonna launch things. You're gonna mitigate risk. And this is something that when you're actually finding investors, when you're actually going into a venture and you're actually finding even partners for your project, they're gonna see that you're really knowledgeable. They're gonna see that you're considering the variables, and they're gonna see that there is a good opportunity on the investment. So there is gonna be return on the investment, and even though there are like some potential risk, you're still considering contingency plans. So then that's the importance of always being more factual and database. So things are really more accurate, and then they are not subjective. You're not saying this is a good opportunity because it's a nice market and people like makeup. That's not really factual. If I'm talking about that it is a good opportunity, is because I can tell that despite of the economical crisis, is still the beauty industry has seen increment in their sales. And this is the type of products that even though people are struggling monetarily, they don't cut expenses. And it has something more psychological to go there. So then again, be really factual when you're answering the questions. Then moving forward, on week 8, you're going to be adding again all the elements: opportunity, then you go to the strategy, then you have the questions, you answer the questions, and then you go into the systems, week 8. For week 8, we're going to address all the software that we're going to need in order to make this happen. So then a way of accomplish this is by dividing by areas, dividing by sections, dividing by all the components that you need to coordinate. Like if you're talking from the product perspective, do you need any CAD system? If you're talking about the marketing system, do you need any consumer relationship management, any CRM, or do you need any financial platform that is going to help you to keep track of your expenses, or how you actually how you're going to actually use the software and hardware connected to make things happen and launch properly the product. The way of managing information systems is because we're bringing the variable of using the systems, using the softwares, using the hardwares in our advantage, but we need to understand the human component is still really relevant, but we're being more efficient and we're reducing error and maximizing the time. And then finally, we're going to address the conclusions, which from the conclusions, you can actually conclude from the standpoint of the product plan as a signature assignment, if this was proven that it's still a good opportunity, or in the middle of your research, you realize actually there is a new launch of a new product that is similar to use, you can address this. And finally, you're going to recommend. Whenever you're concluding, it's always important to recommend, because there are some elements that you need to improve. There are always room for improvement, and you need to acknowledge that. Or if you made a mistake, or if you overseen something that is critical and important, please address that in this portion. because this means you're aware of the next step. That's what it's talking about. You create something, you analyze, you research, you're going to move it forward. And to move it forward, this is how you're going to do it to the next stage. So this is the way that it works. So then we have all these elements from week to week. I'm going to be providing feedback. I'm going to be telling you you're in a good path, you can move forward, or I'm going to ask you, on the other hand, revisit please these elements before moving forward. And it's a good practice because if you're moving forward and you have already like a hole, or you have like a loophole in something is missing in an element, it's actually going to carry out, and you don't want that. So then again, you want to start with a good foundation and moving forward, building things in a solid way. So that's basically how it is. I always ask, again, as I mentioned, to keep adding the components and keep adding. So then you keep adding and adding the resources. So then you start with 5 or 6 resources. For the next week, you're 8 or 10, and then so on. You start increasing and creating a more robust and comprehensive document. That's exactly what we want. So then, as I mentioned, these are like some examples that I provided so you can have like a better understanding of what is our end signature assignment. And this is an interesting product because it's Lola tampons, and it gives an interesting outlook about difference of products that you can actually explore for your signature assignment. So then here we have the analysis of the product, what is the brand about, what is the target market. We have some images. This is also really key. Try to use always images to support your ideas and create a better storytelling. We are really visual. We remember images, colors, and this is something, a way that we are able to connect. Use graphs to represent the market share, the market increase, a pie that actually represents who are the actors and the substitutes, the competitors. Create a board to understand better who is the consumer. Create some images on boards with the product, with the current product and the attributes. What are the materials? What are the components that make it so unique? And what is your proposal? And then again, use always data to support whatever you're saying. Don't just say something is good and it's important and it's nice. Try to avoid using adjectives that are really not referring in a factual way what the idea and the product is. Try always to be really, really objective and impartial when you're evaluating something, because actually when you're pitching this idea to competitors, or not competitors, but when you're actually pitching this idea to potential investors, that's what they're going to look at it. They're going to evaluate the idea with a really objective eye, and the way that you present it, you kind of fall in love with a product, but you need to be more impartial in order to see a better picture of what is missing. So that's also like a good practice of addressing a product development. So then here we have like some examples of questions and answers using in-text citation, and then moving forward, we have the systems. So now let me actually go into a different example. I actually want to show you the example of another product. And this is actually the one from Tesla. So then again, you can actually explore different companies. It depends if you have any specific and particular connection with a company. Try not to do it with something that is your own. Don't like, oh, I'm starting my own company and I'm having this platform and I want to do it in my company. Because again, this is important to learn with something that is already there, available with the data, and then later you can replicate the learning of this type of products into your own exercise in a personal level. So then here we have the product plan for Tesla. We have the abstract, the content. And then again, this is kind of like tapping more the solar development, of course. So then we have the technology. If the company has the technology, how they can apply it. If the company doesn't have the technology, should they partner with someone? And if they're going to partner, why this company will partner with Tesla, for example. So then again, we have the questions. Then we have the systems, and here is divided, which is actually a really good practice. And then finally, the conclusions. So then again, this is really important to understand that this type of product plan, it will help you to balance better your load. So then, of course, you don't get overwhelmed with the class, because the class has different portions. Has a portion that is a case analysis, and that is an individual, and also has the discussions, the weekly discussions. But on the other hand, we're evaluating your performance in a team. So then you can shine on your own as a person with the case analysis, with the weekly discussions. But on the other hand, you actually need to learn to work in groups. And that's why we're bringing into this class, we're bringing two different mindsets. One is working as a team, and then the other one is working as a person, and how you can move from one to another one. Again, this is about researching, this is about systems, this is about coordinating, this is about conflict management, this is about time management, this is about brainstorming and understanding that you can build an idea better if you work in collaboration, and how you can actually make things happen. So that's exactly what it is, this signature assignment. And then of course we have the rubrics, and I'm always open, to review the material in advance. If there is something happening internal, try to solve it first internally, and if you cannot, you can talk to me. But then again, this is a good exercise for real world, real world things happen. And if you need an extension, talk to me always. What is happening that you actually need an extension? And it is possible, of course, it's possible to have an extension, but it's good to always communicate actively if something is wrong. So then we can actually avoid things till last minute when the quarter is done. So that's exactly what it is. And then that's it. Do you have any questions so far about the signature assignment? About the deadlines or?
So every week we turn in a paper. So this would be the group work, but we each individually turn one in.
Correct. So then every week you're going to be turning the signature assignment, which is going to be the product development, and then it's going to be the research for a potential product for a company that is existing company and is already publicly traded. So we have access to data. And then what I'm asking, which is something that I mentioned, is always access, the information. And then when you're submitting your assignment, do it on your own, do it in your Canvas. And then I told you already the reason why. The reason is to avoid students working in silos, so they are independent, so there is no whole unity. And then the second one, I don't want to get all the burden and all the work into one student, which is the leader, which is the one who will be putting everything together at the end, at last minute, right, crumbling everything, waiting for people till last minute, sending information. So I don't think that that's fair. So I like actually working with everyone on the same boat, kind of trying to understand, you are responsible for your work. And then as a whole team, I'm going to evaluate that. I also have this that is actually, I have a frequent, this is kind of like questions, kind of questions that you can actually even go there and then check. Questions that students have asked me, like in the past, and I try to address those. So then people are also aware of what to expect and why things are in a certain way. So that doesn't make sense?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Anything else?
So far, so good.
Okay, great. I'm glad, I'm glad that you're here. And then again, thank you so much. That this session was not mandatory because, of course, the modality of this is more e-learning, and then it's on your own pace. Every week, the modules open and close. So then, but I like having this session so you can have actually like a better understanding.
Yes.
So then again, Dennis, thank you so much for joining me. And then since you are here, and I really appreciate that you are committed and taking your time, I'm going to give you 5 extra points, that you can use later in any case analysis or for the weekly discussions or for the signature assignment. So I usually do it at the end, but if you need it before, you can just send me a reminder. Hey, by the way, I need it now, and please use it for this assignment. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So then I think that's it. Thank you so much, Dennis, and then have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.